Hello, welcome to Pike Creek Farm. My name is Renee, and if this is your first time here, thank you so much for joining me. I'm in the thumb of Michigan, and I like to do videos on canning and vintage recipes and life in semi-retirement. It's really windy here today. It's not as cold, but we have 50-mile-an-hour gusts, so that's what you hear clanking. So I'm gonna bring you down and talk to you why I'm making dinner. I'm doing a pantry version of Italian wedding soup using what I have. So that means rice instead of orzo and some other things, but I'm gonna tell you my weekly plan as I do this and have my coffee because it's cold. So let me bring you down and show you what I'm making and just chat with you. So what I'm basically making is an Italian wedding soup variation based on what's in my pantry. And I showed you the meat mixture, which was pork and Parmesan cheese and Italian breadcrumbs and garlic and Italian seasoning and some milk, and I'm trying to make really tiny meatballs that I'm going to drop in the broth, and they will cook there and they will be nice and soft. So I'm just adding them, and the broth is just chicken broth, and I added some garlic to it and some a little bit of Italian seasoning, and then I have freeze-dried celery, onions, carrots. I have frozen peas. I'm going to add some kale that I have in the fridge. And the freeze-dried vegetables are what's let me make this soup and have good flavor because I don't have any fresh right now for the pantry challenge. And this soup will do us for 2 days. I am using rice instead of orzo because that's what I have in my pantry. And this will be a really flavorful and not a hard to eat meal for Jim. So I'm just going to keep dropping in little tiny meatballs. You can cook them in a pan or in the oven. They'd have a firm texture then, but I was going for more a soft texture. I didn't want it to be a hard, firm meatball, if that makes sense. And what I like about cooking them in the broth is they absorb so much flavor. And this will end up being a pretty thick soup because Jim likes a stoop more than a soup, I guess. He doesn't like it real brothy. He doesn't think that's a meal. I do, but, trying to make everyone happy. Last week was a crazy week. I never got a video done because it was just, I had to work all week. We had a birthday party for my grandson. Church had an annual a meeting and a potluck, and I worked in the kitchen. So it was a tiring week. But I did stick to a menu plan. Last Sunday, I made in the crock pot, I made an Asian meal with like water chestnuts from the pantry and frozen green peppers and onions, and I used venison backstrap, and I had a bottle of orange sauce in the pantry from Aldi, and I put that in with it and with the soy sauce and the beef broth, and it was very good, and that did us for 2 meals plus a lunch for me. And that was nice with having to work every day to have that there. I did make sausage gravy and homemade biscuits with egg and cheese one night, and Jim just doesn't like sausage gravy as much as I do, so it's just something we do occasionally. Then I made some loose meat burgers, and those went over really well. And the last meal we had, which is sort of funny, we had fried bologna sandwiches that I haven't had in years, and they were good. Okay, so I came in here. The wind might not be as loud. Dinner is just simmering. I'm waiting for the rice to finish cooking. And it's going to be a thicker soup. I did add more rice because Jim's not a huge fan of real brothy soups. I like them, but he doesn't. So I added some extra rice and stuff, so it will be a stoop, right? A stoop. Stew, soup. So that's what we're going to have. And my mantra this week is kind of cook once, eat twice. Cook once, eat twice. So that will do us for 2 dinners this week. I think it will be good. Then tomorrow, which is Tuesday, so you'll probably see this Tuesday, I'm gonna make some crock pot spaghetti sauce. I've done videos on that too. I'm gonna let it cook all day and it gets nice and tender and the flavors are wonderful. And that will be 2 days of dinner, and usually there's some extra too. So then Thursday we will have the leftover soup again. I'm gonna cook the spaghetti sauce tomorrow because I'm gonna be home. Then I work Wednesday. And then, so that will take us till Friday, and I decided we're gonna have breakfast for dinner. We're gonna have, I think, pancakes and sausage. I'm trying to not use an excessive amount of eggs, you know, because we're not getting a lot from our chickens yet, about 3 a day, and you know, they're too expensive in the store. And then Saturday is gonna be our date night. Jim doesn't know it yet. He's gonna find out. And here is the final stew soup dinner for tonight. And thank you so much for joining me. I hope this inspires you to do some menu planning from your pantry. And we'll see you next time at Pike Creek Farm.